Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order Last Days of Europe, as the Greater German Reich. Now, in the last video, we got the Dutch back into our spear. We got the Danes back into our spear. We've integrated Bohemia into our spear, so we're doing pretty solid, all things considered. The main thing we're worrying about right now is getting Ostland back into our spear. Fortunately, we don't have the Chad Meyer land route to do negotiations with. Instead, we have the Virgin Frederick Jeckeln. Though I do have to admit, those shades are pretty cool. That's besides the point, really. At the end of the day, I'd say. Because he believes in the, oh god damn it, the fools in Slovenia have gone against Germania's gracious offer. Our diplomats have returned to Germania empty-handed. Slovenia intends on defying the Reich. The here has been rallied, and our men are moving south into Carpathian Mountains. There's only one victory that can possibly come for this. They could have made this so much easier. I don't know if you're hard-coded to say no, but I don't like that they said no, because now I have to kill them, and they don't deserve that. Bulgaria wants to join? Yeah, sure. The Reich Kanzlei was dark. The silent corridors and empty offices were an almost eerie sight. Long shadows cast into the moonlight in pitch-black corners, but a single light dispelled the ominous atmosphere. Helmut Schmidt was still in his office, working on the latest diplomatic documents, when he realized he had long since passed for closing hours. He was very tired, and perhaps just a bit tipsy from the liquor he drank to keep himself awake. With a yawn, he turned off the light and looked from the window at the sleeping Germania. How different it was from Hamburg. So big, so strange. Still thinking about his home, he made to leave his office, but perhaps by chance he looked at the mirror near the room's entrance, and wished he never done it. His figure was dark, but a single moon ray illuminated the very thing that he didn't want to see. The red band with the swastika, symbol of all members of the Nazi party, including him. Disgust crept from his feet at that cursed thing, and himself wearing it every single day. He immediately went to remove it, as if it burned, but was stopped when he heard a voice. "Why are you trying to remove it?" his own reflection told him, sneering in the mirror. "You can't lie to yourself. You like it. Admit it." After a moment of complete befuddlement, he replied, anger flung from his voice, "I don't! I'm doing it for everyone! To build a better tomorrow! Oh, no, nine. Liar." The shadows replied as they took shape behind him, a severe visage so familiar to him. "Father? Look what you have done, Helmut!" Gustav Ludwig Schmidt said, disappointment heavy in his aged features. "You live among them, smile at them, shake their hands. You betrayed us. You are no son of mine. I'm doing it for—" "Liar!" screamed the father. "Liar!" laughed his reflection. "Liar! Liar! Liar!" cried 1,000 shadows swirling around him. With a loud crash, the mirror went into pieces when Schmidt threw his briefcase at it. And suddenly the spell broke. Trembling, crying, the diplomat looked around himself in fear, but only silence met his gaze. He fell to his knees, hugging himself, repeating the same phrase as if it could shield him from everyone. "I'm doing it for everyone. I'm doing it for everyone. I'm doing it for everyone. I'm doing it for everyone. Alright, we'll move in there. Oh. What conference of peace is this? Bratislava burns, and with it the last bastion for a brighter future. There is no hope left for the people of Slovakia. I mean, I'm sorry, but you guys kind of brought that on yourself. I hate to say, I don't like victim blaming. But I don't know what else we can do right now. You attack in there. We'll take Brest-Litovsk. I realize what that is. I remember what it is. I probably knew it before, but I remember it now. Do they have cores on this stuff? No. Honestly, we really probably just need to focus on the south and we'll be fine, if I had to guess. 8 for the present. Let's open the ports, try to get some money. For a long time, our ports have seen few ships belonging to nations outside the Unity Pact. Mutual embargoes between ourselves and every other global power helped demonstrate our economic strength in the past, but now their price has become apparent. When the economic crash first hit, the lack of imports and exports was a serious blow. But the Burgerkrieg's devastation has stripped away the credibility that autarky retained. Germany is the mightiest nation on earth, but we cannot allow its suffering to continue any longer than it is necessary. Though the conservatives still balk at the notion, we must open our ports to the international trade and let the world know that our people are in need of aid. There is no shame in admitting that the German bleeds like any other race. It does not infringe on the glory or superiority of our nation. We're only being realistic. Why should we turn away help if it is offered in good faith? There we go. Yeah, so we got a pocket going. So it's time to kill Dirty SS. After all, the only good SS officer is a dead SS officer. Though the war was over, still the fatherland suffered. To speak of the scars of war is erroneous. Germany is rent apart, with the lifeblood of a nation dripping endlessly from gruesome gaping wounds. To deal only with scars would be a comparative luxury. Instead, we find ourselves cleaning up after one of the worst civil wars in European history. Not since the 30 Years' War has Germany been so thoroughly devastated and deprived. In every city, lines of citizens awaiting their rations stretch for block after block. Electricity is still completely cut off in several large areas, rendering much of our infrastructure useless and communication across the nation impossible. In regions where the fighting was most intense, even running water is a rarity. Living standards were already low before the Burgundy. Now they are virtually non-existent. To alleviate the unprecedented humanitarian crisis, the Führer and his government have greenlit the immediate distribution of stored supplies to the people. Anything the military has no use for will also be bundled into the aid package. Food, water, medicine, fuel. If it has value and it is not a weapon, the people need it. Of all the tragedies to befall Germany, none could possibly surpass our current situation. Enough of this nonsense talk about austerity and Spartanism. Germany cries out for salvation, and the Führer will deliver it unto them, no matter the opposition, such as his love for the people. Thank you, my Führer. Let's go ahead and try to move up in here. Yeah. Yeah, these guys are toast. Shit, we didn't even need to do that much. We're done. So we have the Ostländische Besatzungsstaat, led by Alfred Zerbel. Do we have something on him? Nope. Just nothing but trees. So we have the Polish... Ooh! Regime collapse inevitable. So we have to return to over 70. Which we will do right away. In fact, I think we'll do... Yeah, that's not worth it. Let's work for Polish Thorn. History has clearly dictated that Poland must remain a sharp pain in Germany's side no matter what the decade. With the Burgerkrieg won, we must turn our attention eastwards and make a firm decision on how to deal with this thorn, once and for all. Very well. So that opens up another focus tree, I believe. And I think this reset opened up the ports. So we'll finish opening up the ports real quick. The thorn in our side. Ooh. We're gonna need more regime stability for the Reich minister's plan, it seems. The Reich Protectorates of Bohemia and Moravia, together with the Netherlands and Denmark, were the territories where Germanization proved most successful. When Germany fractured, these territories entered a state of political upheaval, but in the end, lands this close to the beating heart of the Reich couldn't be allowed to become a potential threat. As such, it was no surprise when the new government in Germania decided to quickly move in and seize back such important provinces, especially the Netherlands with their trade ports, and Bohemia with its industrial core. The friendly governments in Copenhagen and Amsterdam, and the total annexation of the Reich Protectorate, the new Führer has secured control over Central Europe. Long live the Reich! Very well, very well. Yeah, we don't have too much going on here. Litauen, Weisswuthinian. Open up the ports. No further delays can be afforded. Though Speer's conservative backers still hesitate, the Führer recognizes that he must act immediately to suppress dissent, begin the process of reform, and satisfy his supporters. We must waste no time implementing the groundwork for all future legislation and reorganization of the Reich. The Reichstag will not be the means by which this is done, however. Former legislative efforts will have to wait until the Nazi Party is firmly under the Führer's control. For now, we should instead focus on spreading Speerite influence far and wide, assigning trusted men to positions of authority in important bureaucratic offices. Reform will only be achieved through careful consideration and planning. You can't bludgeon your way through bureaucracy, after all. Yeah, makes sense to me. Wilhelm was giddy with excitement as he entered the museum. A museum! His first trip outside the city without his parents. His class won a trip to the newly opened Bürgerkriegsmuseum in Hamburg, and now 25 boys between 9 and 10 years old, along with 2 teachers, had left Elmshorn for the great metropolis. Everyone was in awe with what they saw. Each room had its own theme. Urban warfare with reconstructed trenches, politics with an analysis to what caused the Civil War, espionage with the tactics used by the contenders to gain the upper hand. Finally, the last room's theme was Letters from the Front, with hundreds of missives sent by soldiers or militiamen to their dear ones during the war. Wilhelm looked at one of the cases and started reading. Dear Kriemhild, I miss you so much. You have no idea how much I would like to return to you. But I can't. Heinrich has sent his wolves. Do you remember that small restaurant where we dined during last year's holidays? They hanged half of the village outside there. The rest are digging trenches for the SS. I won't let this happen to you. I swear it upon my life. They'll probably attack tomorrow, and I'll be ready. I kept your photo next to my heart. If I die, I'll die with your name on my lips. I love you. A small plaque said, Eberhard Jenk, killed in action. Wilhelm trembled at the words he just read and asked his teacher, Teacher, who was Heydrich? The teacher's expression immediately turned sour, but he now looked calmly at the boy and answered, Heydrich was a man who wanted to see the world burn. And he was committed to see his desires realized. Tell me, Wilhelm, do you want it too? Do you want to see the world burn? No, said the child. I want a happy world. I want to go with Mama and Papa to have fun. The teacher's face turned jovial again, and he chuckled, patting the boy's head. Come now, it's late. He then raised his voice. Class, time to go. I hope the visit was instructive. Ja, teacher. So we'll have to deal with Poland. It's Poland and Norway we have to worry about. So we have the national commitment. Alone in the Dark. That movie was fucking terrible. Jesus. I mean, I know it's not what they're referring to, but fuck, that movie was bad. I think it was. I've never seen it. It's one of those movies that just looks horrible, you know? Ooh, the Kingdom. It's making a comeback. Okay. No national focus set. Okay, victory in the Burger Krieg was won not only by our generals and their brave troops, but by the ordinary men and women toiling away in the factories of the Rhineland. Day and night, those who could not fight still found a way to commit themselves to the rightful Führer's war effort. Rewards in line with those granted to the troops are in order. Pensions for life, tax breaks, and decorations for service to the nation. We must not forget those whose lot it was to work regardless. Due to our heartland in the war being the Rhineland, millions of slaves fell under our jurisdiction. Though they could have taken the risk against our army and their guards, they continued their important work with renewed vigor thanks to the Führer's promises. Though there was always a few radicals who had to be dealt with, the majority of slaves performed admirably, no doubt buoyed by the respectful and humane approach of our kind Führer. Any other self-proclaimed Führer would have worked these unfortunates to death in the pursuit of victory. Their loyalty to the Reich has been decisively proven and should be rewarded. The Rhineland slaves will be reorganized into the Führer's own loyal labor divisions. They will be granted better housing, higher quality rations, less oversight, and can expect particularly favorable treatment when the time comes to implement the Führer's labor reforms. Perhaps we should even open up the general promotion to these divisions, given appropriate behavior, of course. That's nice. So we got, what, suspend the persecution, or end Aryan lineage, studies. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at... I have to work on our stab for a while. Okay, so our outlook is going up at least. So we're getting there. We're working on improving stuff. Yeah, I think, Her Majesty's most loyal resistance. Loyal to the end, though they might have been. They don't have long. Alright. Ooh. Okay, for years now, Hungary has been an unwilling participant in Germany's sphere of influence, both militarily and economically. Times are perhaps changing, however. Although both countries shared leadership that leans to the right of the political spectrum, this is where the similarities end. Hungarian sentiment towards the Germans is almost non-existent at this point. Any goodwill Germany still had with a small country ended when it stood by as Hungary's neighbors tore her apart in her moment of weakness. Following the market crash of the 50s, it's hardly surprising that Hungary is keeping its options open as the Reich recovers from its disastrous civil war. The Italians, perhaps sensing a prime opportunity to undermine the Germans, have begun to reopen diplomatic channels, with there being talks of possible Italian investments into the economy and mutual defense pact. Not to be undone, the Germans are likewise now taking special interest into their neighbor and historic ally. It seems the two are now in direct competition with each other once again. The prize of such a high-stakes game? For such a great game? Hungary, of course. So the great game begins, ladies and gentlemen, once more. So, what do we want? We could fund the Aero Cross or train militaries. We need more army experience. Okay, we'll exercise you on the border. We'll exercise you guys on the border. Honestly, we'll exercise you guys and get working on that. Training the paramilitaries might be the best option, but the question is, can we get the military expertise in time? I personally kind of doubt it. So we'll have to wait and see. But let's send a message and shout out all the ones who fought. Despite the calls of conservatives, militarism, and the SS, tens of thousands of soldiers remain loyal to Speer. I should probably pause real quick just so I don't go way over. They saw the righteousness of his cause and the deplorable nature of the pretenders. These steadfast defenders of National Socialism found a ready ally in the citizens of Germany who flooded to the standard in great numbers to stand out for freedom, no matter their experience. None of our enemies in the Burger Krieg could call upon such a brave and reliable militia, demonstrating without question that the hearts of all true Germans were with Speer, the rightful fear of the Reich. We did not forget our soldiers as the Weimar Republic did, neither the enlisted man nor the regulars. In addition to the special commendations and medals being produced for the militia forces, each and every one of our soldiers will be granted a special badge, forever setting them above the disloyal comrades. Furthermore, they will be granted an increased pension and first priority for promotions. Militia fighters, provided they registered formally, of course, will also be granted a basic pension to show our eternal gratitude, with higher rates for exemplary men and women. Even the women. Damn, Nazis so progressive. Yeah, the general government is claiming Poland. Peter Schelte Hirima. A Dutchman from Amsterdam. Okay. If it's Zerval, he doesn't have much going for him. Huh, what do we want? What are we gonna want to do? I say we look to the mistakes of our past. It's been too long since true justice had a home in the Reich. For decades, all manner of criminal scum have held the nation's heart in a vice grip, squeezing the life out of Germany for their own benefit. Abuse of power, blackmail, corruption, debauchery, treason, and even murder have been rife within the bureaucracy, the Wehrmacht, and the Nazi Party. The entire upper echelon of National Socialism is infested with criminality. Now it falls to us to cleanse the Reich of this rot. The Führer has publicly condemned all such crime and corruption, proclaiming that anyone who perpetuates them or participated in them in the past will face the full power of the law. No enemy of the people will be beyond our reach, nor will any enemies of a Führer, for that matter. So, a little bit less PP, but we also get some more authoritarian democracy. It's very nice. So the Italians are sending a delegation, I think. Okay, that's just a temporary boost to our regime stability. That's not going to do too much in the long run. Speeches are where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta hype these people up. They're sending an Italian delegation. You gotta establish ties with the Air Cross Party. I doubt we're gonna get there in time, so I think we try to reach out to some old friends. I think that's the move right now. Okay, economy, what are we looking at? Our military spending is through the roof. Also, that makes me think. I want to get rid of those panzers. But here, for example, we have a lot of green guys. Not that experienced. I think we'll just disband these units. See if that helps our economy. At all. A little bit. Not that much, honestly. Shoot. Okay, military austerity. We're still getting a deficit. How about a cut in civilian spending? We still got a heck of a lot of production going. Actually, not. Scratch that. Why are we building reactors in Germania? We don't need that. I don't even think they do anything. Let's not do anything silly now. Okay, so we're about tied up. The Italians are reopening an embassy. Let's see if our old connections with our old friends will help us out at all. I mean, that's gonna be something we'll have to wait and see, but we'll wait and see. Edge detection, let's go for it. Mistakes of the past. Let's show their crimes. Bormann, Göring, Heydrich, 3 men, each of whom claimed to the world that he was the sole rightful Führer of a greater German Reich. Steeped in crime and bloodshed, these 3 men were responsible for untold suffering over the past 30 years of National Socialist rule. How many times did they corrupt the will of our Führer for their own ends, or crush innocent Germans underfoot in pursuit of glory? The true Führer, Albert Speer, will be remembered for many things. Restoring justice to Germany will be first among them. Our foes, meanwhile, will go down in the history books as the greatest criminals in Germany's history. They're more dangerous than any external foe we have ever faced. It's only right that every German child learns the full extent of their evil, that they might never slip from the path of the true National Socialism. So we'll get an event in a couple days showing their crimes. Alright, so Ertusk versus Aldan. We'll see how that goes. I don't know, I'm not entirely optimistic, but we'll have to wait and see. Ooh, Tomsk is getting beat up. Jesus. It looks like we might have Kemerovo winning. Now, let's not complicity. It is the decayed Nazi Party, a true nest of vipers if ever there was one, that is responsible for Germany's moral failings. As our late Führer became more engaged with winning the war and then entered semi-retirement, some members of the party took the opportunity to enrich themselves and corrupt Germany at the expense of the people. Our great Reich would never have plummeted to such miserable depths if Speer, the sole bright light in the party hierarchy, had been able to purge it of its worst members decades ago. Every conflict, every corrupt official, every abuse of power and crime against humanity, every single one perpetrated by the Nazi Party's criminal elements, despite Speer's best efforts, of course. That will be our line. Do not query it, do not query the Führer, do not speak with insiders, or trust what you hear in the underground. Do not investigate. After all, don't you trust your Führer? Question mark. Regime stability 35%. Crud, we really... Okay. Though their followers have been killed, imprisoned, or brought to the heel, the legacies of Bormann, Göring, and Heydrich remain, knives in Germany's back. In time, as their sponsors are converted or weeded out, these painful memories will fade, but perhaps that's not enough. All these claimants to the Führership commanded immense respect and popularity among the populace. Exposing their dealings and crimes through state media and public testimony would be a wise move, but attempting to discredit all of them at once would arouse suspicion. Bormann's conservatives' ruthlessness and devotion to Nazism represent the total anathema of what Speer's supporters stand for. He spent much of the past 3 decades spreading his poison, infecting most of the Nazi Party. Rooting out this rot from the party would go a long way towards decreasing internal resistance to reform. Bormann was always careful to operate within the bounds of the law, but still inspired fear and hatred in many of his subordinates. Now that he is gone, they might be more willing to testify against his memory. Göring had always enjoyed wide popular support due to his status as a war hero, but the greater threat by far is his former support base in the Wehrmacht. Owing to great victories in the Second World War, the Wehrmacht remains a defining part of German culture and society. Still, their militarism is a clear and present danger to the Reich, serving not only to turn yet more nations against us. Thankfully, Göring has a long record of illicit financial activities that would ruin his reputation if they were to be exposed. Finally, there's Heydrich. The SS might be widely loathed, but Heydrich himself managed to retain a positive image following the West Russian War due to Hitler's high opinion of him, his reputation for decisiveness, and his Spartan discipline. Obviously, admiration for him might quickly morph into admiration for Himmler. We cannot afford to have Burgundian filth, fifth columnists active in Germany. Exposing him while memories of war still fresh in people's minds could destroy any pro-SS sentiments for good. Whom shall we bury in history? I think Heydrich's, it's the obvious move, but it's a good one. It's a clear one. The blood-soaked butcher. Get him out of here! There we go. We got some extra regime stability. Ooh, it's boosting up. I like to see that. It's going up on its own. Yeah, we get a weekly stability campaign tick. Again. Some more PP. Getting some nice big PP going here. What do we got for the great game? 8. Fuck. Okay, the Italians won one. That's not the worst. Okay. So we can either suspend the Aryan lineage studies, or we can suspend the persecution. I want to wait and do this just because this one, along with being pretty blessed, not gonna lie, I think is what you gotta do for a certain ending I'm doing. Let's look at the Krieg in the south. The Reich Commissariat in Africa are in chaos. Wars erupted after Reich Commissariat Hutu of all Africa decided to back the Boers in their quest for independence. We can't risk war for the U.S., but there's something we can do. On one hand, we can send troops and supplies to our colonial authorities, citing the need for improved security. Since this is within our right as a sovereign nation, the Americans won't be able to protest. Should we win, it would give us great prestige and hit our competitors harshly, though our people might protest from the waste of resources and human lives. On the other, we can make sure the war stalls long enough to allow us to extract all of our personnel, materials, and even more importantly, money. By draining our colonies of all they have of worth, we'll cut our losses significantly. This would mean de facto surrendering to Americans, but will also save both lives and money. You know, we might do this real quick. If we can. Oh, South Africa's holding their own. I mean, they lost Cape Town to a naval invasion, but the AI does that a lot. And that comes with the territory. Ooh, Komi versus West Russia. We'll see who ends up winning. It's Samara versus West Russia. It looks like, although the Aryans might make a cameo here, they might pull out a clutch victory. Looks like we'll get a proposal coming up. We can withdraw the war, reinforce war effort, reduce the war effort. Let's hold a speech. That's what I know we should do. I'm getting tired anyway, so it's a good thing that bell rang. Cause, yeah, I'm fed up with this. Well, I'm not fed up because I'm having fun. I'm tired. I'm fed up with being awake. That's a better way to put it. So yeah, if you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for uploads every weekday, sometimes Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get, and I appreciate any all feedback you might have for me. What happened to Nova Pulse? Was this New Warsaw? Boo. Anyway. Comments, feedback, any sort, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments again. Appreciate any all feedback you might have for me. If you want to send a few bucks my way, I have a Patreon down below. You can check that out. If you don't want to donate, fair enough, but I appreciate the thought. If you want to chat or play games or do anything like that, I have a Discord you can check out down link below. I'm working on revitalizing a little bit, doing some new I don't know quite yet. I'll figure it out eventually. More activities and stuff. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Also, I have a Twitch. You want to watch me do this sort of stuff live. So if you're interested in that at all, go ahead and check it out. Donuts, you sneaky bastard. Yeah, check it out. Down link below. But yeah, thanks for watching as always, folks. My name has been DB333. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.